Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa, continuing our coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. And of course, the Prime Minister urging everybody, all Canadians, to come home. But for some Canadians, that is easier said than done. I am joined by Chris Tooriram, who is an Ottawa resident who is stranded in Peru. Chris, hi, how are you?
Oh, doing great considering the circumstances.
Yeah,
Thank
Chris,
you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking, Chris. Chris, describe the circumstance. First of all, you're there with friends. When did you arrive in Peru?
We arrived on March 11th in Lima, and then took a second flight to Cusco the same day. But overnight, we arrived here on the 12th.
How many in your group, Chris?
There are 6 of us.
Okay. So what then? Sorry, going back, Chris, so when you left March 11th, I guess it wasn't as serious as we're discussing it here today. Between March 11th and now, what has happened in Peru? Why can you guys not come home?
Well, that's the funniest thing, is that nothing has happened. But I guess the Peruvian government is acting very much more proactively than most governments, and I'm on their side on that. Their cases are under 100 back then, but I guess they see how scary it's got in Italy and Iran and China and elsewhere, which I think every government in the world should be doing, because it goes so fast from 55 to 5,000, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely,
But
Chris.
that was the reason we decided to come, because the numbers were so low.
Right.
I did not want to come on this trip, but all of our friends, we decided together that it's very low there. There's a less chance of getting it there than in Toronto, because we left from Toronto.
So where does it stand right now? As I understand, the Prime Minister did make a statement about those stuck in Peru. Where are you at now?
Yes, so I'm in Cusco, Peru, and the international airport is in Lima. We're like a 28-hour bus ride from here because all airports are closed.
Okay.
But there is an army base and an airport here, so it appears that the planes are coming, 2 in Lima and 1 here in Cusco because of the air base. They're not going to the actual regular airports, at the army airports.
Okay.
But that's just understanding and filtered information, because we do not get any the only direct words we get is, hold tight, you've been taken care of.
Right.
But we're getting like bits and pieces and comes from, we joined all these different groups, Canadians stuck in Peru, a whole bunch of different groups. So the information is overwhelming, and sometimes you don't know what's real and what's not.
And Chris, your circumstances are quite dire. As I understand, you're living with HIV, and you do not have, I guess, enough medication to sustain you for very much longer. Is that right? That's
correct. Today was my scheduled flight home, and I always bring a little bit extra. So I have a little bit extra until around April 5th or 6th. And so that's my only really concern, because other than that, everything is fine. We are all in quarantine. You go out for your basic necessities. The bank is open, the pharmacy is open, the grocery store is open. And I feel that's the way the whole world should be right now.
Yeah.
Until this thing is conquered.
So, Chris, if this medication runs out and you cannot get more, what circumstance does that put your health in? I imagine your health becomes at risk, never mind COVID-19, but for even catching a cold, catching the flu.
Well, not just my health, but anyone who because my status on the HIV spectrum is undetectable. And the latest finding in the HIV prevention world is U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmittable, sorry. So when your viral load is suppressed, you cannot transmit the virus. So that's a concern. Right up off the bat, I will be able to transfer the virus. The second thing is, when you're not undetectable and you have this virus swimming around in your bloodstream, your body, you're more open to opportunistic infection. And the biggest one right now, of course, is the COVID-19. So it's like almost a point of no return.
Right. Chris,
if I stop taking my medication, I'm dead.
Yeah. Chris, I'm sorry we've run out of time, but we certainly wish you safe travel and hope you get back home soon. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on the program. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, Chris. Thanks. We'll see you on Wednesday.